Welcome back, guys. So let's dive into GraphQL. So the GraphQL is a very famous jargon nowadays because it's actually override the REST API REST APIs because GraphQL provides a single endpoint. From that, we could able to query our DB or even your REST, the other endpoints from this backend. So the advantage of GraphQL is so we have only a single endpoint. From that, we could able to do all operation, insertion, deletion, updation, and query operation. So we don't need to write, endpoint of endpoint, which we does in REST APIs. And also that when it comes to Hasura, right? Hasura is a team actually from Bangalore. Uh, they're providing a software which will in turn help to create a GraphQL query uh, without even coding. So they're mainly supporting PostgreSDB. Suppose if you have a PostgreSDB, so you want to migrate the PostgreSDB to GraphQL, GraphQL library, GraphQL engine. It's not that easy because we need to connect our PostgreSDB to, suppose you are using Node, we need to connect the Postgres by using CQLize, then we need to again connect it to uh, GraphQL Node client, and we need to map all the models mapping properly to in time with GraphQL library with GraphQL node library. So this is not a that is a very big work. So what does Asada does? Asada providing an console. So a UI console from that we could able to do that easily. So we don't need to do coding stuff. It's gonna generate us a graphical engine for our DB. Which in then given an endpoint, single endpoint. So from that we could able to query delete or mutate our database tables. So let's deep dive into it. So before going to that, so I have a repo called Docker and traffic. So there configured the Docker Compose file. So last videos I talked about the traffic and Docker and traffic, right? So let's look into that. Um, please go and see the video to understand it because now I'm going to run the PostgreSDB in my server and also GraphQL engine. So the GraphQL engine will map to this subdomain as well as in. So from there we could able to access the GraphQL engine. Let's so the other thing is about this, we need to properly create the network because if you forgot to mention network properly, these two services won't communicate with each other. The Postgres won't communicate with GraphQL. The GraphQL won't be able to communicate with the Postgres. So networks is internal and proxy, and I'm using version 3. So I create the volume, so that volume holds the Postgres database data. Okay, guys, let's start. So what I'm gonna do, I clone that library. So I'm gonna run up. So first it pulled the PostgreSDB and it's gonna run PostgreSDB internally. There wasn't any service discovery mapping to PostgreSDB I configured. But now the Asura console is running, it actually have a service discovery mapping. I mapped it properly. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to this new tab. I open Asura. So it intend and open the Asura console. Uh, it have this feature. This is GraphQL GraphQL UI, which in turn using upload GraphQL UI, and this is where called the database. Do you ever use PHP MyAdmin or did you ever used PG admin to manage database? That's the same thing. So we can able to create a table. We can create relationships here, and we can even run this query. Then this is a database query and all. This is the database query. Uh, so I already have a table called user, and user was to data. So from GraphQL, I'm going to get the data. So it's user, u small. Okay, so got it right. I got data. And so suppose I need only ID on their first name. So there comes the GraphQL. So suppose you want to do the same thing by using REST API, you need to write another REST API endpoint to do this show. So with GraphQL, we could able to query n number of table, and we can able to set the defined set of constraint that I need this data. So the single endpoint we can use for our entire application. So and also it also supports a catching mechanism. Suppose you're having n number of requests, we are having millions of requests we need. So GraphQL even support the catching mechanism. So it will get the data from catching, and it in turn give us faster. So we don't need to hit the DB at any time, every time. That's also one advantage. That is called data loader. So okay, that's fine. So let's see the flow out actually happening. That is called Altair. There is a tool called Altair Network. So if you install that tool, it will then given in Chrome, you know, Chrome if it's F12 debugger tool, it comes a GraphQL debugger tool. If you now I can run this query, I will get to know. So if you see this query, right, if you see this query, operations, complete the query, response, data of user. So the same thing, right? What I'm doing, I'm getting it here. So the query goes like this, query of user, and so you see this, right? This how it goes. Query of user, and it goes like this. So I'm gonna use another tool called GraphQL Altair GraphQL client. So let's send the request. Resource does not exist. One second. That's a post request. Okay, I need to send a post request to that endpoint. So we got it. And so field user is not able to query it with. So it's not caps, it's small. That's a problem you actually face. Now got it right. So data user ID. So we can use before connect before that we need to set the address. So access the admin secret. So given before running this service, I given the password as admin password 123. This is Hasura UI console password, guys. Don't confuse more. Suppose if I logged out from this user base, I don't know where to log it out. I don't know where they configure it properly. So okay, fine. So it'll ask a password. That's password is that thing. So password 123 got it right. So this how. So you are seeing Asura console, Asura UI console. So this is for creating table. So right now, let go into something. Let's do some hands-on. I'll create a table. I just create a table. What can I say? I just create a table review. I just put username for your namesake, text, and comment what they commented, and it's gonna be text. I need an ID which is gonna be auto increment, and that is the primary key of it. Okay, let's create that. I got it. I created it. I'm gonna insert the thing. Same. So just I'm giving some command. The movie is bad. Save. That's it. So the I say that so I see the data is inside there, and I'm listing the table. It's like simple a PG admin, PHP admin database activity. I'm just inserting and just reviewing it. So okay. So now I'm gonna need that review on the user. So what if I need the both of the thing? So is that is possible in REST API? Because we need to write a REST API to get the both the data, but it is possible in uh, GraphQL. So you could see it, right? Review I have only one thing, no commands. So user is fine. Review also another thing called command. And if you see run this, Uh, so, uh, DB is another table and news is another table. So, a single request, I'm able to access both the table and getting the data. And even we can put an offset limit 10 for this user, and also limit 10 for the review on the user table. So it support this. So even it support mutation. Uh, so till now you have seen instantiation, right? So I'm gonna do a user mutation. Sorry, it's not subscription, it's user inside user. So that's it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to put like this inside user. return affected rows, and even I can return ID of a inserted user. Okay, I'm going to insert first name, last name. Okay, yeah. Okay, got it right. So the data is inserted into the table, uh, and the ID is 4. We can go and check it here for user table. 4, right? Okay, is M is inserted. Again, I'm going to graphical table. I'm going to run this by using query. Um, First name, and name. So what I can do, where I can put the where condition where ID equal to 4. To put it, I don't know. Okay, forgot that flow, but so like that we have the future, so we could able to use all the future of uh, GraphQL engine. So Asura, the team, the software will generate all the all the GraphQL futures without even coding, by just going the UI console, by connecting, by creating table, by creating relationships. You will have you will have a yeah, setup environment. So we have a production setup environment that we can go and use this API endpoint, and you can insert data. But you can you can use the GraphQL future, and use deletion, insertion, deletion, updation features of GraphQL. So that's how it works, guys. Thank you for watching.